There is something different in the background of this video, something that isn't normally there. If you can guess what it is in the comments below, you will win the, legendary pencil of Al's Garden! Yes, I've been guarding this holy piece of graphite for going on 6 millennium now. It's like millennium, but with a B. But yeah, you guess what the difference is? You win it. I'll even give you some hints. It's not the Luffy thing, because that actually just fell behind my bed, and I had to put it back up there where he should be. So it's not that. It's not the poster, because I change out the poster pretty much every video. It's the only hints I'm giving you, though. You have to guess what the difference is. Okay, so, today's video, we're going to be talking about Raftel Island. Although, wait, hold your horses, grab onto your speeds, because it's not actually pronounced Raftel anymore, is it? Yes, with the release of the movie Stampedo, we actually get the English version of this word. Now, this doesn't actually change the katakana for it, because the katakana have always been, Rafteru! I'm channeling Nux there for a moment, but no, we never saw how the island's name was actually, written or romanticized in English, okay? So we get that in Stampede. I don't consider that much of a spoiler. For one thing, I've already said that in multiple videos, and the movie's been out for like 3 months, although I will not reveal the circumstances in the movie that led us to find out how it's actually there, but just trust me, the English word for the island does appear in the movie, okay? So it's laugh tail, as in, ha ha ha, and you're laughing about tails. Actually, you know what? I got a good joke for you, alright? I got a tail joke. Are you ready for this? Okay. What did the mermaid use to wash her tail? Tide. Yeah, I know, you're probably, you know what? I actually have another joke revolving around mermaids that's gonna follow that up. I know the laughter has barely subsided, but get ready for this next one. Why did the mermaid wear seashells? Because she grew out of her B shells, but she wasn't quite ready for her D shells. Okay, now I know that one's gotten a lot of people laughing, so I'm gonna do some light reading while you guys are laughing your asses off, and when I feel like the laughter has finally died down, then I'll continue this video, alright? Pretty damn good series. Boromir kind of got it in, a bad way, but aside from that, great series. Okay, we all good now? Everybody's set? Alright, cool. Alright, I used to think the name Raftel was, like, significant in the sense of, like, just the name itself. Like, raft. Like, okay, a raft, what does a raft do? Floats on the water, right? So, remember when the Straw Hats arrived at Zou, and they go into the whale tree, and they get to see the first road poneglyph, the ones the Minks had. Inuarashi and Nekomamushi are explaining what the road poneglyphs are, and what they do. You need 4 of them. Each of them specify a specific location. You mark those locations on a map. At the point where they all intersect, you need all 4 of them for this. That is the point where you will find Raftel, or Laugh-Tail Island. This is the way it looks in the manga, the diagram that we get. The way it's going to be in the actual story is probably not going to be this simple, because I've heard people say that before, like, you don't need all 4 positions, you only need 2. I'm like, well, that's not really true. If it's laid out like this, like a perfect X, then yeah, you don't need all 4 points, but it's probably not going to be laid out like this perfect X in the actual manga. For example, if you have 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point there, you need all 4 of those to figure out where all of them intersect perfectly. I mean, yeah, it might narrow down the exact area in the ocean where Raftel is, but it's really hard to just go sail out into the new world, and it's pretty treacherous, so you need all 4 points for this. But I'm not even talking about that part. In the manga, when you see this diagram, in the center where they all intersect, you see like a pillar of water erupting. And once again, I don't think that's meant to be taken literal. I used to, but I don't think that's the case. So I looked at it and like, oh, water is erupting from this center point, and the island I thought was called Raftel, so that means that it's like a raft. It's going to erupt out of under the water. That's where it was hiding this all this time. This is why no one could find it. This is why you just can't hop in a boat and sail around the new world and just, oh, there's Laugh-Tail Island off the starboard side. It's hiding underwater. So you gotta get to that point that all the road poneglyphs specify. Then you gotta do something, I don't know, like say a chant or it's like Baba Booey, and then all of a sudden the island just erupts, okay? okay? So I was taking the word raft quite literally there. However, that's actually not the word. It's laugh instead of raft. Now, different word, but also considering the fact that we see it written like this in the movie, and Oda had a big part of the movie. Like, this was not like the animation department just taking this away and just being like, we're just gonna guess on the English word of this, you know? No, that was definitely Oda's part. In fact, Oda even came out and said that he wouldn't have allowed the plot of that movie to take place if it wasn't like such a big deal, like the 20th anniversary of the anime, because, you know, they touch upon this stuff in Stampede, and this isn't spoilers, this is just something that's common knowledge. They touch upon things like with Roger's crew, with Douglas Bullet and things. That's dealing with kind of really, like, you gotta be careful when you do that kind of stuff, because that's like dealing with endgame stuff in One Piece. And I think that's part of the reason why Oda said that. He's like, I would have never, you know, revealed this extra information about Raftel in a movie of all things, unless it was like a really big movie, a really big event, and an anniversary of the One Piece anime, right? So that's where I think he's coming from there. So, what does the name in signify? You know, Raftel, alright? Well, I'm going back in the manga, and I'm looking at, like, the times that the island has been mentioned. And the first time it was mentioned was, of course, by Crocus. The Straw Hats land at the Twin Capes after, you know, sailing down Reverse Mountain. They have the whole thing with Laboon. And then they're just kind of chilling out at Crocus's lighthouse at the Twin Capes. And, you know, Sanji's got the blue elephant tuna that he's cooking up and having good. And, you know, they're talking about log poses and what you need to actually properly navigate the Grand Line. And then Crocus, you know, he doesn't explain that he was a member of Roger's crew, but he explains that the island that you're probably looking for, the most likely place where the One Piece would probably be, once again, he 100% knows this because he was there, but, you know, he just like, you're looking for a place called Raftel. Okay, it's the most mysterious island in the Grand Line, and he specifies that Roger and his crew were the people that discovered it and the first people to set foot on that island. Okay. Now, it's also been stated that when we're talking about the One Piece treasure, Roger did not create the entirety of what that One Piece is. It seems to be implied that he sailed there, got to that island, that mysterious island that no other person in known history, because I think that's also another way Crocus is like, in all of known history, no one else has stepped on that island except for the King of the Pirates and his crew. In known history, no one else has stepped on that island, but he got there and he found what the One Piece was, or still is. It's still there, right? Now, I think Roger, in addition to whatever the One Piece was, Roger added his own treasure to the mix. Maybe he left a lot of his gold and his diamonds on that island. Maybe he left a note or something else, and maybe that giant dragon egg or that Yoshi egg that we always see on the Oro Jackson, maybe he took that egg and he left it on Raftel Island. Maybe. He added stuff to it. But when they landed there, and whatever they found there, also including was the Rio Poneglyph, you know, the last Rio Poneglyph to actually piece together the Void Century, that was also located there. You know, that seems to imply that there were other people on that island at some point before Roger, okay? Now, of course, the world government, suppresses the information on the history of the Void Century and before that, most likely. So, yeah, I think that's what Crocus was talking about. Crocus basically should have said, like, it's been a really long time since anybody aside from Roger has found that island, you know? Another way of looking at it is the people that, you know, lived on Raftel originally are still there. You know, and I've talked about this before, that island could be a vestige or the last vestiges of that ancient kingdom, the great kingdom that ruled the world before the world government. The world government took over, wiped out most of the places that this great kingdom controlled, except for that one place. Maybe Raftel was like their capital city. Might not even have been their capital. It might have just been an island that they had under their control that they could all flock to and hide if shit got bad. You know, and then their descendants currently still live there. Maybe doing some Dr. Stone stuff with this, you know, 900 years later, the descendants still live there on this island to this date, okay? But when it comes to outsiders, people that were not originally from that land, then it's Roger, and only Roger, and Crocus, and the other members of his crew that landed on that island, okay? So, I'm gonna throw this out here. Maybe it was Roger was the one that actually named it Raftel. Think about this. It's a mysterious island somewhere in the New World. Already, the New World is a dangerous place. Not easily navigable. All right, you can't just sail around. Oh yeah, it's such easy sailing in the New World. Okay, it's pretty rough all on its own. But this place, this Raftel place, is even harder to get to. So let's say Roger finally finds the damn place. he finds out what the One Piece is, and then he leaves, disbands the crew. Nobody else in the world even probably knew that that place existed. Maybe except for, like, Im-sama and the Gorosei and, like, really higher up people. But beyond that, nobody probably even knew that that place existed. So Roger was like, "Ah, yes, me mateys, we sailed the Grand Line, we made it to the very end, and you know what we found? We found a mysterious island that I call Raftel, or Laugh-Tale, because you have a mighty epic laugh at the end of this great adventure, this great tale." That's probably the reference, the pun, the joke, whatever you want to take it, you know, it's just like, it's laughter at the end of a tale. So, whatever's going to be, I would love it if we just land there and we find something ridiculous, and it's just like Luffy and the gang can just not help by letting out a giant gut laugh. Like, we land there and it's like, it's a free coupon for McDonald's. It's like, that's what the One Piece was this entire time. Oh my god, so many people have lost their lives for this. So many people have set out to sea to try to find this. And it was just a coupon for a free Big Mac. This is great. You know, now Luffy's in it for the adventure. He's always been in it just for the adventure, right? He's not in it to actually find, like, oh, gold and doubloons and all that crap. You know, Luffy could get there, and like I've said many times before, there could literally be no treasure whatsoever, and Luffy would still be happy with it, because he would turn and see his crew there, and they'd be like, well, we had an epic adventure, didn't we? I think Nami would be kind of pissed, you know, I think Usopp would be kind of pissed too. A lot of the Straw Hats might be pissed, but they're all together at the end of it. They're all together, they're friends and whatever. But you just think of all the other people that have sailed away trying to find this damn place, and lost their lives, and just, even if they did get away, their crews were probably decimated, and maybe they lost some limbs along the way, and it turned out it wasn't anything like that. Now, Oda has definitely explained that they're gonna get something physical for a reward. Although, to be fair, a free Big Mac would be something physical, so you never know. But the fact that it's laughter, I think it's maybe just like, yeah, we had this big epic adventure, and Roger's very boisterous, and you can see he lets out a good gut laugh at the end of it. They have a big banquet on Laugh-Tale and be like, "Oh, men, we traveled these 7 seas, or possibly 8 or 9 seas. How many seas there are? We did it! Ha ha ha!" And that's what that place is, right? Then again, you know, considering Oda, we could flip this on its side and it could be like, oh, Laugh-Tale, that sounds like a happy island. It's like, oh no, turns out there's like a doomsday weapon on it or something. It's like, oh, like laughter, like evil laughter instead of happy laughter. Okay, there's many different kinds of laughter. There's happy laughter, like a guffaw. There's evil laughter, like whoa. Then there's creepy laughter, which is like and then there's whatever the hell Barry calls this. Every time you do that, I just, ugh. But yeah. So yeah, different kinds of laughter and everything like that. But I think that's the overarching theme. Is like, it's the end of the adventure, and that's the celebratorial, like, laugh that you do, right? Okay, so let's just say Roger named it that. Like, let's say there were, like, even if there were people still living on the island, they seem to probably be limited to staying on that island. Like, if they were descendants of this great kingdom, they probably would not want to leave that area, because they're like, this is the one place in the world we can be safe. You know, we've lived here, and our ancestors have lived on this island for centuries and centuries, and there's only one person that's managed to find us this entire time, and that was Roger. And Roger was a pretty cool dude. So they obviously wouldn't leave the island. And, you know, Roger would have to call it something whenever somebody asked him. And he's like, "Where did you go, Roger? What did you find?" He'd be like, "I found the One Piece on, some random island." Some random island? Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it Raftel or Laugh-Tale. However you want to write it, it's fine. You know, so, yeah, I think that's probably something from Roger's perspective, because Roger's he's always really laughing. So it's just like, I could see him naming it that. That might not actually be its real name. In fact, you know, a while back, I had this theory. I still have it, but I'm just going to shift it around a little bit. I had the theory that, yeah, Raftel Island was the ancient kingdom, right? And the reason why the government wanted to silence Professor Clover at Ohara was because he was about to announce the name of that island, or the name of that great kingdom, is the Laugh-Tale Kingdom. That's why they wanted to eliminate him, because that would mean that it's a connection to Roger and a connection to the One Piece, and that's like connecting the dots. How about this? What about if the reason why, you know, we're calling it Laugh-Tale, that's maybe not its real name? You know, its real name is the name of that great kingdom that Clover was about to speak, and the government didn't want him to say. So it's just like, okay, Roger lands on the island, the people of that island say what the real name of it is, And it's like, what, you have to keep this a secret, though, Roger. You can't tell anybody what this place actually is. And then Roger's like, okay, me matey, and he leaves, and he comes up with a fake name for it instead of what it's really called, okay? And to just extend this theory a little bit, from the one scene in the entire series that we have with Raftel, or Laftel, look here. This is the one time you will ever see this island. It's in silhouette, kind of. It's foggy. You can't really see most of it. But you can see there are these kind of like pillars on the island, sort of like a structure. It's not just a deserted island. There's some kind of structure on this island. Now, it might just be rock or like a cave, but still, that seems to imply architecture. That seems to imply somebody shaped it like that. And if you look at the image of the Great Kingdom that the O'Harans unearthed and they figured out in their archaeological research, there's certain parts of that island that kind of resemble what we see on Laftel. So, now, I mean, it's nothing concrete, but it's something to go off of, right? One more thing I wanted to bring up here, and this is something that I couldn't structure an entire video around, but it was something that I just wanted to bring up because I think it's finally setting something in stone. For a while now, it's been kind of debatable whether or not Shanks and Buggy went to Laftel, like they were there. Okay, we knew they were apprentice pirates on Roger's crew, but we don't exactly know the whole, breadth of that. Like, what did that mean? Like, were they always there? They weren't always there, obviously, because they were little kids. I always assumed they did go to Laftel, but it's never been explained, really. And the big question is, like, if Buggy has been there before, why would Buggy try to screw around with, like, these small-time treasures, or, like, even Captain John's treasure, which I'm sure Captain John's treasure is really impressive, but not nearly as impressive as the One Piece. Shanks, it makes sense why Shanks would not be trying to constantly get to Laftel. It'd just be like, Shanks is just kind of being his own pirate, doing his own thing. He has different agendas. Same thing with Whitebeard. I mean, even Roger even told Whitebeard, like, I could tell you how to get to Raftel, Whitebeard. And Whitebeard's like, nah, I don't care about that place, don't worry about it, right? But Buggy, you think Buggy would definitely be interested in it, okay? Now, there's a few reasons why he probably isn't, or he doesn't even bother, he doesn't even try. Number one, it's way too dangerous. Probably when he was with the Pirate King himself, they almost probably didn't make it. They probably had a rough journey. I don't think it was smooth sailing the whole way for Roger even. Roger and Rayleigh and Bullet and Odin, and we know all the crazy things Odin does. I'm sure it wasn't just like, we just sailed up to, Laftel and we landed and there were no issues whatsoever. No, there might have been a situation, the Oro Jackson might have been supremely damaged during that journey. Who knows what might have happened, but I definitely think they got there, they didn't get there, unscathed, right? So that's one thing. It's just like Buggy, even now, Buggy's like, the nightmares of that journey probably haunt his dreams, right? So it's like, man, we barely were able to get there when I was sailing with the King of the Pirates and the Dark King Rayleigh and Odin. We were barely able to get there. But now, with my crew, we got a lion, a busty, slippery girl. We got Moji. Yeah, Moji, he could carry this. He's basically equal to 3 Gold D. Rogers, It's just like, and Kabaji. Kabaji's worth 5 Gold D. Rogers, all right? So it's just like, there's no way that they could get there now, so there's no point in even trying, right? And I can think of other reasons, too. Like, Buggy certainly did respect Rayleigh and Roger, so whatever they found on that island, if it was a doomsday weapon, if it was something that was crazy riches or something, Buggy doesn't talk about that to anybody. He doesn't blab about, and this is Buggy we're talking about here. He doesn't blab about this to his crew. He doesn't blab about this to other people. Like, I've been to Laftel Island and I know what the One Piece is. So, you could just say that was one of the reasons why people thought, oh, there's no way Buggy would have went. Because if Buggy did go and he did know what the One Piece was, he'd be blabbing about it to everybody. No, I think the more impressive thing here, the scarier thing is, no, he did go there and he did find out what it is. But even Buggy would not dare to spill that information to anyone. And you could say that's out of respect for his captain, or you could say that's out of just pure fear, or you could say that's just like, if I do relay that information, I'm immediately going to be on a government hit list somewhere. You could pick any one of those. But even Buggy, even on his worst day, even to the people he trusts the most in this world, aside from Shanks, because Shanks would know it too, but he doesn't tell Alvida, or any of his Kabaji or Moji, the people that have been on his crew for so long that rescued him from death when his bodies were separated. He doesn't tell anybody in Impel Down. Like, he's locked in freaking level 1 of Impel Down. He's like, what are you in for, clown? He's like, well, let me tell you what I'm in for. I used to be a cabin boy on Gold D. Rogers' crew. I've been to Raftel. That would be like the ultimate prison cred, you know? The pirate prison ultimate credit would be, I know what the damn One Piece is. You know what? Honestly, I could imagine an Impel Down. Everybody would claim to know what the One Piece is. Everybody would claim to be the biggest badass pirate in the world, you know? So maybe Buggy could talk about it in there, and he's like, yeah, my name's Magenta Beard. Yeah, I'm Magenta Beard, and I know what the One Piece is. He's like, yeah, well, my name's Long John Silver the Third, and I know what the One Piece is. Well, my name's Captain Funny Hat. They get that name because I wear a funny hat. I know what the One Piece is, you know? So, yeah, that's prison stuff, but I don't even think in that situation Buggy would talk about it. So that's something I like to think about, that Buggy has been there. He does know what it is, and he just doesn't tell anybody because it's just that crazy, right? All right. Well, anyway, that's the video. So I hope you enjoy. A little bit on the shorter side than normal, but okay, you know, not much to go off here, but I did want to make a video about the fact we did learn about its actual name and how it's actually pronounced. With that being said, as you probably noticed with this video, I'm going to be switching back and forth between Raftel and Raftel all the damn time, because I've been calling it Raftel since the 4Kids dub, actually, because even the 4Kids dub, they didn't include that line in there. It actually wasn't Crocus in the 4Kids dub, though. I think it was Zeph that actually explained it. And you know what? That doesn't make, you know, that's not a terrible bad change. You know, it's like Zeph had been to the Grand Line, and the legend of that island was around. I mean, it makes more sense coming from Crocus, because he was actually there, so he can say with 100% certainty that's where you need to go. But Zeph being in the Grand Line before, and hearing stories about, yeah, I hear there's this legendary island called Raftel, or Raftel, I forget what it's called, but it's at the end of the island, it's at the end of the Grand Line. Zeph overheard that, and he's like, oh, that's where we need to go, man. So it would have made sense for Zeph to know it too. We need to know more about Zeph and his journeys in the Grand Line. It's been forever, but you know, we just saw him in the Totland. All right, we can get Zeph back. All right. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and then let me know about the one thing that's different in the background here. Oh, by the way, it's also not. And if you thought it's like, oh, it's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. No. That was a prop for this video. It's not that. Good luck.